So why did I put fan service in this scene if I didn't want to sexualize it? So we're going to be talking about my manga, The Night of Slaughter, and the bath scene. And we're also going to talk about scene tension and scene intent in this discussion. So what is the intent of this bath scene with Veronica and her mother? I mean, she's a 7-year-old and she's naked in the bath with her mother. Why are you sexualizing this? Well, I think any reasonable person could look at this scene and see that it's not sexualization. A mother is literally holding her child while they're crying because they saw a gruesome murder in the last chapter. And she's being forced to work with her trainer that killed the other girl, all to teach her a lesson, which he's going to have to give to other people as well. And so this scene was designed specifically to put them not only in an emotional vulnerable situation, but physically as well. And we've already talked about the culture, about how this is not seen as weird at all within the Tower of Babel. Nudity is not sexualization, but it's to give the mother and the child an option to really just dive into their feelings and to really sell the seriousness of this training arc, where her mother tells them she could get her wish after death. So you have this heavy emotional scene where Veronica's just like, I want things to go back the way that they were before, when you were my mother and not my trainer or my head knight. And then her mother is giving her a resolution. When it comes time to pick a trainer, you need to pick me. So in terms of tension that we've built so far, this is a very heavy scene with very heavy topics that we're talking about. Then all of a sudden you get this woman coming in shouting profanities, and we see Lady Petals for the first time. We get to see her back tattoo, and we get to see this more fan servicey shot, because this also tells what kind of character this is. She doesn't care about decorum like Lady Alicia, who's been very prim and proper the whole time. She's literally entered into this scene to break that heavy tension, provide some comedic relief, all before we dive right back into the tension where Lady Petals sees something wrong and then starts interjecting her own story into this and becomes very vulnerable in order to help Veronica. And so yeah, while this shot was meant to be sexualized, the scene itself was not sexualized. It was handled in a way where two maternal figures was helping a young girl with her trauma, to help her navigate these very complex feelings, especially dealing with death. But the thing is also, it's a mature series. Like, you may be asking, well, why did you do this shot this way? Well, sure, you can clearly see where her chest would be. But Lady Alicia is 5'6", and Lady Petals is over 7.5 feet tall. There's literally only so many ways I'm shooting this shot. A prime example of how you can tell that it's not designed to be fan servicey. Look at how Lady Petals is holding Veronica. Look at where Veronica's hand is. Look at where her head is. It's not buried in her chest. Look at how Lady Petals holds Veronica. It's in a very maternal way, a very natural way you would hold a child. Another example, Lady Petals, yeah, she's got boobies, but guess what? Instead of having Veronica's hand on her chest or have her hold Veronica lower so she would be in her cleavage, I specifically covered her nipples with Veronica's elbow so to not draw attention to the nipples. I purposely framed the shots more up so we don't see her bum here and we get to focus on the faces. And if you want to talk about eye direction, you go from here, 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 and then since Veronica's head is directly here and we focus on heads, but her hair then leads us right down into these panels. But in terms of tension, let me recap this. You have a very heavy tension at the start. You get an introduction to the character, what their disposition on nudity is, and a little bit of comedy. You dive back into the heaviness of this scene, building more tension. You take a little bit of a breath with some more comedy. You dive back into the tension, holding your breath, and then you keep it there. And then you'll keep it there until the very end of the scene, when you can just sigh. Having just relived one of the most tragic moments of this character's life.